Greetings, greetings. I'm sorry because I was live a few minutes ago and ended the live very abruptly. But forgive me for those who were there. Sister Layla was there from Atlanta, Georgia. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I have reached 11,000 subscribers. It's a good look, knowing that my previous account, Egypt Decoded, had 9,000 subscribers and the account was terminated. Well, there we go. Layla Al Gharabi is back. I am back, yeah. And let me refresh that so I can have the chat showing. There it is. The account was terminated in November 2016. So it took me 3 years for me to get back where I left. That was quite detrimental to lose so many subscribers, so many people who used to follow my work. And not only I've reached that, the 9,000, but I went over it, reached the 10,000 mark, and now I'm at 11,000. And I was explaining that first, when you have your account, you will see every single additional subscribers. At some point, when you get many thousand subscribers, some of you might have noticed that it's per 10. Like you will see 210, 220. You would no longer see 211, 212, 213. You go by 10. After I've reached the 10,000 mark, now it's per 100. So up to even earlier, later on today, it was still showing 10,900 subscribers, but now it has reached 11,000 subscribers. And I remember that before I ended the live, Layla Al Gharabi was saying by the end of next year, I would have 30,000 subscribers. We'll see how it goes from there. Now, I want to show you what I've been saying a few times about scrolling through the videos. There it is. Hold on. Okay. Now you are all familiar with that search box there. That's where you scroll. You search for any videos on YouTube. But if you go there, that's when you search on the channel. And many times I said that you should go on videos and then click the search box, but obviously you don't need to, you see, because it's the same. So to make the long story short, if you are on my account, because many times I make references to videos. For example, White Semites Black Awakening. So if I go there and I put, okay, I will put Semites. It should be among the first ones because, yes, I suspect also that when you do a search, it will show you the videos that has the most views first. So White Semites Black Awakening. In bracket, were Semites black in ancient times? You have the other one that I mentioned a few times, Black Semites Shocking Revelation. Now that one's in French. That's in the Louvre Museum where you can see, you can even see it there. Well, I think the quality would not be great there, but this is from the Louvre Museum. And first you see an Asiatic and then you see a Nubian, and you can definitely tell the difference of phenotype. We have Africanist World of Rights. Your work is great, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. And to everybody who like my work, like I said many times, feel free to make a donation. I have a sister who made a donation, and she's actually originally from Haiti. I am, so I was I was happy for those two reasons. getting a donation and also coming from a Haitian, it's appreciated. So you can just send $1. I'm cool with that. If you want to send more, then send more. And there's super chat as well. Akibulan Soldier is in a place to be. He has joined us. That brother is in Nigeria. Now, you have ancient Semites in Iraq. I show artifacts from the Louvre Museum. You see, there's that one that I showed. Shimon, right? Hello, brother. Hello, Shimon. I don't know if you ever came during the lives. Africanus wrote, Haiti, a wonderful people. Shimon wrote Hotel from Trinidad and Tobago. That's lovely. You see, I did not even know about Trinidad and Tobago before I went to live in England. I did not know about Barbados as well. A few of those islands that were colonized by the British, I did not know. Shimon wrote, new sub, very refreshing, your content. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you like it. Really. So you see, brothers and sisters, right now I am in France. We have a Akibulan soldier who is in Nigeria. We have a brother who is from Trinidad and Tobago. That's a beautiful thing. And hopefully maybe somebody from the UK will join in. There's a sister who usually comes, who usually come and holler at us from South Africa. So I like to see that. I hope that it will remain the same. Oh, well, there we go. Africanist world from the UK. You see? It's from the UK. And if you don't mind me asking, where are you from originally, if you are a brother or a sister? Which country? Now, you have, yes, I was talking about this video right there. I'll show you the video. It's actually, I made it live. Well, there we go. Africanist world from Jamaica and Kenya. Wagwan, blood, wapen. Everything Christian place. And Kenya, habari gani? Habari gani? I don't know if it's ndugu or dada. Nasema Kiswahili kidogo. Ningependa sema Kiswahili wewe. Yes, bro. Mzuri sana. Laila Agharib is from Covert, Michigan, USA. See? Now, Shimon wrote, never did a DNA test. Would love to know. All right. Africanist wrote, vizuri sana. Nimefuhari ndugu. Ndugu, shukrani. Well, shukrani obviously that's thanks. Well, I'm more familiar with asante. Yes, asante or asanteni for many people. But for those who don't know, the Swahili has a big Arabic influence. Just like the Haitian Creole has a big French influence. And in Arabic, shukran means thanks. So shukrani obviously means it has to mean thanks. And in Swahili, they say kitabu, which comes from the Arabic kitab. Shimon wrote, Black people are waking up to the lies. We must continue to spread our true history and wake up our lost brothers and sisters. Now, Africanist wrote, Nime Furhari, I'm happy. Okay, I didn't know that one. I know a little some. Kwenda moja kwa moja. I don't know. What could I say? Sasa ni sangapi? What time is it? Hiko wapi? Where is it? Yes, one by one. I would definitely have to get back on my Swahili and learn a lot more than just saying a few words here and there. Swahili is an easy language to learn. Africanist world wrote very good respect. Asante. I try. Love languages. That's the first African language that I learned. Um, I started learning Lingala as well, but didn't really get far. I still have the notes. And then, of course, as you said, the living language. But yes, this depiction that you see here, that's actually the artifact. Sorry, the department about this area. And what you see here, that's definitely not hair. You can see that that's a headdress. That's a headdress, and maybe some kind of head wrap or something like that. But some people have been trying to say that those so-called knots show king hair. And on top of that, there's that guy. I don't even know the name of that king. Somebody mentioned it during the live. What was the name of the king? Is it Sargon? I can't remember if it's Sargon, Sargon. But because the material is black, Africanus World asked, what is the best way to, one, contact you, to donate to you? Well, my email address, that's KMT at, I'm sorry, KMTshaka@.com. KMTSHAKA@MSN.com. But normally I don't really communicate through emails. I'd rather just do it live, but I can understand some people might want to holler at me. And to donate, the links are all over the account, which is, of course, Ma'at Forever. But the address is basically paypal.me/Ma'at Forever. But actually, while I'm on the account right now, you see there, show your support. That's the link. So when you click on there, you have the page there. That's my government name. I don't have much to hide, contrary to some people who've been doing some very foul stuff. You also have the Twitter and the Instagram. You have the link to Kemet and Ma'at and the second, or maybe actually, yes, Kemet and Ma'at, and the other one should be Deception of Asiatic Black Men. Exactly. 4,000 views now. And also you have the super chat. The super chat. Okay. I cannot go up. Okay, it's okay. I know how to do. But I showed you how to scroll to the videos. Anytime I mention a video and I tell you that you can go and look it up, now you know how to do. Now I think most people know, but some people don't. So that was said for the record. Now, just so that I can see all the previous messages, I'm going there, and I will go where I left off. But hold on. KMT. Yes, that's someone there. And what is it I wanted to say also? Oh yes, here's the there. See there? Well, I guess we all you want. And you type in your message, and your message will be like an emphasis. So that's one way to donate as well. Now let me read the message. Laila, why don't you put a tour together and show us France through your lenses? Well, I have many videos when I went to the Louvre Museum. I have plenty. And as a matter of fact, let me see. Oh, okay. On the previous account, Egypt Decoded, I took so much time to type in the references in the description of the videos. I still show the references in the video itself, but I will put Louvre Museum, British Museum, such and such reference. But now I have that default comment. So I guess if I put Louvre, there will not be many things. Louvre. Well, that's what you have so far. You have English and French videos. Well, you see, Laila Al Gharib just made a donation of $5, $5 US. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. See, I don't want people to feel no kind of way if they don't make any donations. You are under no obligation to do it. But you have so many people who just claim to be down, and some even asked me before, how can I make a donation? And they never did, and I find it funny. But it's definitely appreciated. It's definitely appreciated because we cannot all do the same things, and um, I guess to some extent, I have a skill when it comes to information, not only searching it but presenting it. And people who don't have that particular skill, the way they can participate will be hard for you. And you might not be in a position to make a donation. But remember that even without making any financial contribution, talking about the account, or particularly that video, came in my art. And I think that the majority of the subscribers and the people who know about me or know about work, I think that the majority of them actually know that video came in my art. So share it on your social networks, talk about it to people, show it to people, however you like to do. And because, I mean, the title, you see, before Judaism, Christianity and Islam, because we all know the deal. When we grew up, that's all we heard about. All we heard about. And one sad thing is that there is some, that was a chair, by the way, that sound was a chair. There is, I don't want to say movement, but many people will tell you that Christianity is a stolen religion from Africa and stuff like that. Now, there was some plagiarism, there was some influence and so on, but some black people are they are happy with the fact that there was plagiarism from Africa, so they are comfortable remaining in the Abrahamic belief system. Now, to each his own. If you're happy in your life, then good for you. But this, there were books about it, about black people. Like there's a book called The Africans Who Wrote the Bible. There is one released by, I think it's a PhD. It was released very recently. Cannot remember the title, but you have a fair bit of books like that about the African Bible and stuff like that. But Black patriarchs, Black prophet, Black Moses, Black Jesus, and so on and so on. And it helps because historically, as far as I'm concerned, it's not accurate at all. Now, when I say like Jesus, the historicity can be debated, but those inhabitants of Canaan, Palestine, or Israel, the popular view, I'm aware of that. But my stance is not about being popular, but about being accurate. I had a great deal of opposition, and I still do. But over time, it has gotten better. Maybe because we all grow, we're getting older, we're getting wiser, we're having children, and we learn how to control ourselves more. But I had my good share of opposition and very foul stuff uh, against me. But now it's better than before. And I guess when you have numbers to back up what you're saying, because people say numbers don't lie, and people think twice about addressing you some kind of way. Um, but indeed, and as a matter of fact, you know what? The title of the video that I wanted to make, and I might do it tomorrow. I wanted to had written it down, and it said, "Is not a diss. Disagreeing is not a diss." And to touch on the fact that, from what I've witnessed and experienced in the so-called conscious movement or amongst Pan Africans, if you don't agree with their stance, sometimes it can get very, very heated. Asiatic Black Man 19 Kane, peace to you. Let me just read the comments now because I'm kind of flowing for a little while. I'm being a bit long winded right now. What's the video? Here it is. Let me catch up on the comments. Sometimes I start flowing, and next thing you know, I can't talk for like so long. So Shimon said super chat doesn't work in my country, but he has a PayPal, etc. Africanist World wrote, thank you for the info, got the link. Now, Shimon, right, where did you get your knowledge? Tu fais un biberon? Oh. Hello. He asked me, where did you acquire your knowledge? Well, I will start by this question. That's going to let me flow a little bit. Oh, baby. Oh. I got a fair bit on the internet, but I guess the thirst for knowledge started early. I was lucky, and I think I've addressed that in one of the videos. You have some good people, and I had some elders, good people. Luckily, as much as there are some bastards in this world, there are some good people who want to guide you, and give you information and knowledge. And trying to remember my age, I was about 14 years old when a guy was much older. It was an adult. I don't really want to say elder because that would make him older than he was, but he gave me the book, or let me borrow the book of Malcolm X's speeches, and a book from Marcus Garvey. And I guess reading that, those two individuals at 14 years old, it makes you think deep. They are two of the greatest black leaders that we ever had. I had another one who was more than 10 years older than me, and he was fluent in English. So he would tell me about what was up in America, about the police brutality, And he's actually told me about the triangular slave trade or transatlantic slave trade. And now they talk about it at school, but back then they were not talking about it. We knew about slavery, but very loosely. And when he was telling me how they would go from Europe to Africa and then to the Americas, then like this for years, I was like, dang, you understand? Now, on the internet, I read a good deal. And one thing that was good, I don't want to make free advertisement, but when I was living in England, I was able to purchase books on that very famous website, probably the first website you think of when it comes to books. And now it's even better in terms of choice because you have many other websites where you can find rare books. But I would order books that I would have never found in France or in England and read them. But I did not come in any particular school of thoughts like many people. Some people were at one point a member of an organization like the Hebrew Israelites or some Islamic movement like the Moorish Science Temple of the nation or the Nation of Islam of the Five Percenters or the Nation of Gods and Earth. I did not come in under any particular school of thoughts. I did not really have a teacher like some people did. Um, and I think it was helpful to me because I did not have to detach myself from some particular teachings. Because some people can still remember what happened when I was saying that I disagree with the 5% lesson, Nation of Islam lesson. Some people went real crazy. They went out of their ways. They acted like real savages just because I disagree with those lessons. To them, it is right and exact. I can understand that it's difficult for someone to detach himself from teachings that he's been studying by heart, repeating by heart, teaching to people. But when you're a certain age, but that was a big advantage that I have, not coming from any particular school of thought. For example, some people were they grew up as Nubians, and the Nubians talk about right knowledge, factology, some even say. But we must be honest, there was some real stuff, weird stuff claimed, planet risks, stuff like that. But it is what it is. So I got it mainly from books, and I used to have a book section on my website, but I decided to remove it after some time and after some thinking for a few reasons. I don't really like to recommend someone's book and then I'll see that person down with some anti-black and anti-African teachings. But nobody's perfect. Now, I've been talking for a little while, but I was wondering what went wrong. What is the missing link? Where did we go wrong? And I used to be an Abrahamic believer because I grew up in a Christian family. The narrative Bible says that the Egyptians enslaved the Hebrews, and I was thinking back then that it must have been the reason why it went south for us. But as you study history, and you come to find out that this narrative of the Exodus is very unlikely to have happened, that changes your perspective. And when you like history, I always liked history, I always liked biographies. You understand at some points that evidence is needed. And throughout my videos, you have seen many times people coming and making claims. And very often I ask them, where do you get that from? Can you prove that? What is the record? Where is it? And most of the time, well, many times, let's say, people don't come with account. They're just repeating stuff that they were told. So when you have the methodology of looking for proof or evidence to substantiate claims, you save a lot of time. You absolutely save a lot of time. Now, I gave the example of the Nubians. I can give the example of Nation of Islam members. Don't worry, I will read the comments, brothers and sisters. Now, the Nation of Islam members like to say that their teaching is right and exact. If you ask a Nation of Islam member if Elijah Muhammad was right and exact and correct about what he thought, they will obviously say yes. Many times I have quoted him when he said that you will never see a black president under the stars of America. We had Obama, but that's mild. There was the 1914 destruction of the enemies. And there was an extension that was not supposed to last for so long, but we are far ancient time. But another example, Jesus' body being kept, and you can see the body if you get a certificate from the Pope of Rome and pay $6,000. Unless if you are a Muslim, you don't have to pay. I have shown that. Now, if you want to tell me that this is right and exact, I guess we're going to have a good laugh. Why can't we see the body? Why? It's a shame when people believe in something just because someone said so. I could give other examples. Fahd Muhammad knowing the language of the birds, speaking 16 languages. But I will stop there. That was just for the sake of example. Now let me go and read the comments. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, the European misrepresented the scripture to us, so now many despise the Bible. What can I say? Do you have, I don't know, what can I say? I think that people despise what was done more than the actual book itself. Laila Al-Gharib wrote, I have been through all religion. I asked a serious question in Islam and was told that it's dangerous thinking. I saw the light. Oh yes, few of us went there asking an unconventional question and being told to be careful. Watch out now. Don't go there. Shimon wrote, Ma'at, they have no receipts. I saw that you read that when I was asking about people substantiating what they say. Happens many times. I mean, there's some stuff I wonder how we can fly. We have one Moorish guy. He showed the depiction of Prince Edward, Prince Edward, the King of Wales. Not the King of Wales. What's his full title? Prince Edward, something to do with Wales, I think. I think he was nicknamed the Black King or Black Knight or something like that. But anybody, I think how the, let me see if I have the video. You have to see it to believe it. It's like, some stuff I'm like, how can it fly? How can it fly? Okay, hold on. We have, hold on. Edward. Oh no, snap. Okay. I think it's a matter of title. I will put Prince. Maybe I did not put Edward in the title. I must have put Prince of Wales. Let me look for it. Okay, let me put Wales because there are too many videos there. Well, just before I do, you see here? A.T. the Arch Degree. I did not really know him. I've heard of him, but I did not really know him. I met him in a museum, in a Petra Museum in London. Can you believe that? I'm in France. I traveled to England just to go to that museum. I actually also went to the British Museum, like I have many times, but I went to the museum in Oxford. So I went into 3 museums during the weekend trip. And I saw him, he was with his lady. And museums, when I see black people, they are from America or Africa, and it's a shame. In the Louvre Museum, many times when I see black people, they are from America or Africa, but most of them, they are not France. They live right next to a museum with so many artifacts, and they don't even care. Well, I can't see that video, so I will have to give up. I wonder what title I've put for that video. Maybe I did not re-upload it, but I have it. I might have put it on the emotion. Oh, snap. Okay, I will not dwell about that. I like to show what I'm saying. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. Jesus and Moses spoke Arabic. That's it. Do you believe that Jesus and Moses spoke Arabic? At the time of Moses, if he existed, he was around 1500 BC. Arabic was not even in existence. The language of Arabic did not exist yet. Ha ha ha, there it is. That's what I like, to substantiate what I say. Prince of Wales was black. Asiatics spoke history. Now there will be the... Because I'm showing you that language was developed. This is Edward, the Black Prince. You have to do some research. How can that slide? Prince Edward. Everybody can look it up. That dude was black too.
Edward the Black Prince. What I'm saying is you got to do some research because the Latin language was developed by us.
Because the Latin language was developed by us. I'm not going to say the name of the person who made that claim. I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to say his name. He had made many crazy claims in the past as well. No. And go back. I'm glad I didn't give up. Some stuff like that you have to see to believe it. You know, one other thing also I've noticed throughout the years. For example, Orthodox Muslim. When I've been telling them that the Nation of Islam teaches that Allah is a man who came in the person of Muhammad, they looked at me funny. Like, what are you talking about? I could feel that they felt like it's kind of crazy. Until a few brave Asiatic black men did confirm on tape, on video, yes, that's Muhammad, that's Allah. And the Orthodox Muslim lost their mind. They were not living in that world. They were living in the world of reality without being aware of what the Pan-Africans in the so-conscious community members were teaching. They had a wake-up call. As some people make weird claims and believe in it as plain as day. Believe in it like... Let me read the messages. Laila Agari wrote, each one, rich one, teach one. I was raised that you pay people for their work. So I am literally always watching. You never know who is watching again. No. Laila Agari wrote, I am working on a website from African to Atlantis. I plan to feature you. I'm honored, but Atlantis, sister? Which Atlantis? Which Atlantis? Atlantis to me is a fictional land. Many Moors, if not most of the Moors, very deeply about Atlantis. They mentioned that a lot. Oh, wordplay. Laila Agari wrote that it's a wordplay. Okay. Okay. Oh, King Shadi, habari yako. Wewe sema Kiswahili? I forgot where you're from, but I thought you were from America. But maybe you have some roots, or maybe you just know the language. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, can't grow an analytical and critical thought. Shim wrote, yeah, that's true. I got blocked on so many so-called Afrocentric channels as soon as you question some of their pseudo concepts. I'm fast asleep now. Laila Agari wrote, many people have no true knowledge. They beg for money and run their mouths. And this is true. I hope I don't sound like I'm begging. Some people tell me that though. I remember back then. Yeah, you're here begging and all that. So they beg for money and run their mouths. My father is a national poet here in USA, and this is his motto. I am like a voice crying in the wind, trying to open the eyes of the children of man before they are harvested by the mines of destruction. You know, when I read that message, it makes me think about the reality that the majority of our people are into the Amic belief system, and they will remain in that system or in those systems until they transition. Young people, I want to tell you this. When you are young and you come across the information, and even when you are not young, you usually have a zeal, you have a rush, you are eager to spread information. Just one moment. No? Okay. You are eager, to spread information. And it's almost as you feel like up on game. Sometimes you have people who are interested and they start learning and detaching themselves from things that they cannot validate in terms of evidence, in terms of logic, in terms of culture and history when it comes to themselves. But the peer pressure is severe. The peer pressure is strong. If you speak to a Christian and you ask him if he can give you just one record that mentions Jesus during his lifetime, and you can all do the test, many times well, I cannot tell you the name now, but I'm sure there's plenty. I'm going to ask my pastor and I will get back to you. Well, if you do the test, you will notice that 9 out of 10 times they will never get back at you. Who knows what the pastor told them? Pretty sure that the pastor said, if I was you, I would not mingle with such people who has the one record contemporaneous of Jesus Christ. And when I say contemporaneous, I mean during his lifetime. Peu importe. Je t'ai dit quand je fais là, c'est pas le moment. Non. C'est bon, je la garde. Vas-y, vas-y. So, young people, you have to bear that in mind. The majority will remain into their system. It's sad, but it is what it is. Now, the goal is not to have as many people as possible on our side, or is truth. What is truth? To me, truth is not relative. Many people say truth is relative. And I usually said many times, we're both bound to resound. Truth is not relative, not to me. So that's why many times I said that truth is facts. Facts. The Catholic Church had it on lock. They were the big guys on the block. And they happened to believe that the earth was flat. And the rest is history. The researchers, the scientists who will think otherwise will beg to differ and say that the earth was round or had a roundish shape. Their life was at stake. Their life was on the line. Some people had to backtrack. It took time. Proof is not always convenient. It should be. But when beliefs come into play, religious beliefs, trouble can come your way. If we behave correctly, if we don't harm people, we should be okay telling the truth. But we must beware of fence riders. I'd rather have an open enemy or an open opponent than a snake, and I have many snakes by my side. I wish you won't have to go through being betrayed by people who claim to be down, who claim to appreciate you, but they are weaker than a mofo. Anyway, let me go on with the comments. Laila Agri wrote, I was think deep and question and analyze everything. Shimon wrote, your parents did you well. I will do the same to mine. My parents are religious, so it's hard to deal with them on a conscious level. I'm glad that you wrote that because I have 11,000 subscribers. But bear in mind and believe me when I say that my family members, they don't follow what I do. They don't follow my work. They know what I'm about and know that I will not tell them Merry Christmas. They wish it to me. But they're not down with what I do. And my friends, my childhood friends, when people know you, they take you for granted. Cannot explain why that's the way it is. Now, if you have 500,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers, they will pay attention to what you say. But if you have numbers like mine, unless if you're balling, of course, whoever's balling, he's good. He's good. But when it comes to family members, particularly parents, I'm not going to advise people not to try, but don't try too hard. You'll save yourself some time. Our parents put us on this earth. They feel like they know better than us, like we feel we know better than our children. I think that I know better than my son and my daughter, even though they are children now. They will grow and become adults. Hopefully, I will live to see that. I will most likely think that I know better than them. It's not easy. Give it a try, though. Who knows? You never know. Now, Shimon wrote, you told yourself that's very good means you came with that bias to a master teacher. Indeed. That term, master teacher, oh boy. Oh boy. Sometimes I'm tempted to say names, but I heard someone mentioning the dude, and he said the dude was his master teacher. I was like, oh man, dang, if that's your master teacher, okay, I will remain nice, diplomatic. I will behave. Sometimes I'm tempted though. I don't want to appear like a troublemaker. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I've had people who make crazy claims, and to this day, they did not make any amendments. They did not say, well, actually, I was not correct or I was wrong or false statement. Don't you have the integrity to admit that you were wrong? But it is what it is. Martin, lovely, lovely. That's the kind of people we want on our team. What's our team, brother? What are you talking about? Truth seekers, truth teachers, fact seekers, and spreaders of facts. Shimon wrote, that's fantastic. My partner won't have the capacity to homeschool, but I'm trying to find schools that are not religious as well. So it's easy for us to discuss Afrocentric. K-12, we'll see if they have that school in my country. Asiatic Black Men 19 wrote, the European misrepresented. Oh, I've read that earlier. Laila Agharib wrote, one day I said the Arabs cover because they can't take the sun, and blacks who are Muslims are vitamin D deficient. Another trick. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, everything he said was true if rightly understood. We don't study his words. Oh, probably talking about Elijah Muhammad. But see, it's cool. If you believe that we can see the body of Jesus, Why don't you go and see the body of Jesus then? If I was an Abrahamic believer, and it took only $6,000 to see the body of Jesus, I would definitely go and see his body. He was apparently well embalmed by Egyptians embalmers. The video is there. Look, just to make sure, that people don't think that I'm being crazy right now. $6,000. Put 6,000. There it is. Jesus stabbed to death. See his body for $6,000 and Pope certificate. The video is only 6 minutes long, and I show you the book. Look. You're supposed to look. And put your hands up. Jesus. Okay. I hope you can hear the sound. Being a brave man and ready to die, the sword is sharp on both. That's when he was killed. And ordered by the officer. But I want to skip that. For 10,000 years. Joseph. Okay, I think that's it. He secured some Egyptian embalmers to embalm the body to last for 10,000 years. Joseph wanted the body embodied, took him from the boards where the knife had pinned Jesus' body. When Joseph heard of his son Jesus' death, he came and got the body from the authorities. Just remember that Joseph had the body from the authorities. He secured some Egyptian embalmers to embalm the body to last for 10,000 years. Joseph wanted the body embalmed to last as long as the earth, petrified, but was not able to pay for such embalming. The Egyptian embalmers put the body into a glass tube filled with a certain chemical, known only to the Egyptian embalmers, that will keep one's body looking the same as when it died. That is, if they get the body at a certain time for many thousands of years, as long as no air is allowed to enter the tube that the body is in. They buried the body in the old city, Jerusalem. His body lies in the tomb in such manner that it reflects in 4 different directions. This was done to keep the enemies from knowing in just what direction the real body is lying. No Christian is allowed to see the body unless they pay a price of $6,000 and must get a certificate from the Pope of Rome. The tomb is guarded by Muslims. When Christians are allowed to see Jesus' body, they are stripped of weapons, handcuffed behind their backs and well-armed Muslim guards take them into the tomb. But Muslims, the brothers of Jesus, can go to see his body at any time without charge. Now bear in mind, it says that Muslims guard the body. However, they must get a certificate from the Pope of Rome. I found that real strange. Now, if you wonder what I was quoting, I will show you the book at the beginning. There it is. Death and What It Means by Elijah Muhammad. The history of Jesus' birth, death, and what it means. That's the book. Baby book. Now, you're free to believe that. You're free to believe that this is right and exact. That helps us progress as a people to just take what someone said for face value, adapt that. Wesley, your life goal is the academic vindication of the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, where you have some work. You have some work on your hands. I think he will leave that alone. He has tried Black Arabia and he did not work that well. So now he's dealing with Dianetics and milk because milk is sunlight. Anyway, I'm glad that you've heard that the sound was working well. Asiatic Black Man 19. What is your Yeah, that's what Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote. Everything he said was true if rightly understood. We don't study his words. Well, if you study his words, then. But that's funny. Asiatic Black Man wrote everything he said was true. Everything? Well, Shimon wrote, yeah, always make sure when you are trying to enlighten others, you have your receipts. Yes, receipt. That's a word that people use a lot now. Receipts. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, the Afro-Asiatic language family has been around. Akkadian is Afro-Asiatic. You may not know Meduneta is classified Afro-Asiatic language family. Oh, many African languages fall under that language family. That's just the name of the language family. That's why I mentioned Theophilo Benga, who disagree with that terminology and rather use Neo-Egyptian. Laila Agharib wrote wordplay. King Shady wrote Habari Yako. Agharib wrote 10 steps ahead of the best chess move. Africanist World wrote, Maatfa, can you share your Cash App details? I know YouTube keeps a larger percentage, so in case you have Cash App, we may show support that way. Can't do PayPal. Well, you know what? I will look it up. I will look Cash App. I'll see what it is like. But yeah, I think I've had a look quickly, but it looks like some sort of social network or something. I'll have a look again. I'd rather have something where you can just make the donation. Like PayPal is so convenient. I don't know about the percentage. You see, I don't know how. I know I've had two super chat donations. Probably at the end of the month that it will come. I don't know if the totality will be given to me. I will find out. King Shady wrote, I'm from America, but my family is from Liberia. Oh, but you were speaking Swahili. In Liberia, I would expect that you wrote Habari Yaku. So King Shady wrote, there is no such thing as an Afro-Asiatic language. That was disproven by Shekinah Diop and Theophilo Benga. See, he's on game. He's up on game. Proper term is Nilo-Saharan. Laila Agharib wrote, many Christians can't even recite the first 10 books of the Bible. Well, he is right. My aunt said, I don't know the Bible like I should. And I said, you've been going for 65 years. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, peace, Shady. Egyptians said the people of the Eastern Desert were Asiatic Berber, is what they said according to the scholarship of Amelia Edwards, an Egyptology source up. Asiatic Black Man 19. I don't know Amelia Edwards. But can you get that person, that scholar, to say that the Asiatics are black? That the Berbers are black? Can you get her to say that? Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, so many people fronting don't even study Kemet and Nubia, just know the name movements. King Shady wrote, Asiatic Black Man 19, if you want an actual source of ancient Kemet, study Shekinah Diop and Theophilo Benga. Laila wrote, I know this is off topic, but do they put fluoride in water in France? I notice people have higher intellect than fluoride. I detoxed and got smarter. I don't think they put fluoride in the water in France. And I was surprised when I got to know that they were doing it in America. When I went to America, I found the water a bit strange. But See, the problem is that when you want to be healthy, it's more expensive. Me not eating meat, you don't have, it's costly. And the toothpaste, um, for a few years, I went for toothpaste without fluoride. But after some time, the choice is limited and it's costly. But I really don't think they put fluoride in water in France. King Shady wrote, just because Caucasians study an African language doesn't mean it's Afro-Asiatic. Hold on. I'm sorry. Sorry about this. Asiatic Black Diop in my hands, he said the Anu founded Heliopolis. The Anu came from Arabia, according to the great Diop. Hold on. Asiatic Black Man 19. Of Diop saying that the Anu came from Arabia? Because if there is such a quote, then I missed that. And I really doubt there is such a quote, because some Asiatic Black men are using Diop to make their arguments, and that they have not mentioned, and I think they would have by now. It's just like the Christian brother who said that Pilate wrote about Jesus. If it was so, I'm pretty sure that all those people who are arguing for the historicity of Jesus would have mentioned that. So I'm wondering if you made a mistake, or if you know something that I don't know and I will learn today. But can you please give me the quote from Sheikh Anta Diop where he said that the Anu came from Arabia? Shimon wrote, Ma'at well, so-called master teacher. Shimon, that's interesting what you said. Hold on. That's interesting what you said about fluoride. Later wrote, all religious books lead to some. Wrong. Later wrote, if anyone knows what a spiral is, it is never ending, just like the lie upon lie within the lie that is told. And she wrote that. That's when I was reading a quote from Elijah Muhammad. And it's not to make fun of Elijah Muhammad. It's not to make fun. That's what he said. That's what he wrote. I don't believe that. I don't think it's accurate. And that's about it. That's about it. Just because you love the man, you don't have to be against someone who disagree with what he said. Because let's keep it real. Let's be honest. If an average Joe says that, nobody would take him seriously. As a matter of fact, even the Nation of Islam members, that's not really something that they bring up or trying to defend, because they know in their heart that this is hard to pull off. Trying to do a breakdown of explanation about being able to see Jesus' body in Jerusalem. Nowadays, Israel, some Muslims are guarding the body of Jesus? Really? No. Laila wrote, that's why it is called crucifixion. Shimon wrote, Laila, at what age did you awake to the truth? Laila wrote, when I was 8 in church and said everything was a myth, I got beat into submission and told my dad I was nothing but a slave, and I got another butt whipping. Oh, damn. You got your awakening the hard way and done. 8 years old. So young to be so enlightened. But Layla, you're not the sister who called you in the live. Layla wrote, so I went back to sleep and then searching for truth, became Muslim in 2001 and woke up again in 2017. No, now I know all the lies and glad I went on this journey. For many of us, it's been such a long journey, such a long journey. And for many of us, being brought up in a Christian family, turning to Islam is something that happens very often because we feel betrayed, for lack of a better word, by Christianity and what has happened to us. I need to charge my phone. Bear with me, people. Bear with me. Okay. Look for the cable to plug my phone. I only had 5% battery left, and I was afraid that the battery will die because sometimes when you're at 5%, even if you charge it, it just goes off. So I did press the button so that my screen can be blank. But I don't know if you could hear or see anything. I will find out. It will be the surprise after the live. So let me go back to where I was. Okay. Shimon wrote, what about fluoride in toothpaste? Laila wrote, I detox with cilantro, spirulina, and chlorella. You can make your own toothpaste. Baking soda and peppermint or speaking oil or tea tree oil. Shimon wrote, okay, I use salt. Shimon wrote, I use chlorella. I remember that the first toothpaste that I got without fluoride would not really keep your breath fresh long. But then I found a good one made with aloe vera. Aloe vera, I'm not sure how you pronounce it in English. The Bomb 2000 Pac-Man wrote, hello, from Columbia, Tennessee, America. Lila wrote, became Muslim and become vitamin D deficient. They knew the sun is our power source, but I am a veteran US Army and they got me back to normal levels. Eye on them too. I got my eye on them too, lol. Oh, looks like we have a page. You see, I was waiting. Now, Asiatic Black Men 19 wrote page 72 of The African Origin of Civilization Myth or Reality by Diop. Anamin, great tribe of Anu, founded North Heliopolis and Hermonthis prehistoric times. But I don't see any quotes from Chekonta Diop saying that the Anu came from Arabia. Isn't that what was said earlier? I'm going up. Yes. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, I have Diop in my hands. He said the Anu founded Heliopolis. The Anu came from Arabia according to the great Diop. Anyway, strong way, brother. Asiatic Black Man 19, but I'm used to you saying stuff that you don't substantiate. That's all good. That bomb 2000 Pacman wrote, okay, thanks, I apologize. He's probably talking to someone else. Shimon was no place for a black person. No need to apologize. I'm saying America doesn't have white supremacy, but that's not an excuse for blacks not to make it in 2019. Laila wrote, Dr. Mumbi on YouTube calls it the divided states of America, which is technically. So let us unite. 54 countries, also 50 plus countries. The youngest being South Sudan. Sudan used to be the largest country in Africa until there was a split. Now you have Sudan and South Sudan. Now the largest country in Africa is Algeria. Mainly desert though. Shimon wrote, we have billions in spending power. The reason we are not rich is because we don't own anything. We don't keep the money in our black communities. That is said, hold on. Something wrong with the cable. Now that is so true. That is said so many times. That is so true. At the time of segregation, the dollar used to stay much longer in the black community, and black people used to do so well. And there are two examples. I wonder if that was the nickname, Little Africa. There's another place that was doing very, very well also, similar to Black Wall Street. But I name was Little Africa, but of course not the nickname for Black Wall Street, but I don't think so. I'm not sure there. I'm not sure. But Black Wall Street, if you don't know, it's really sad. Now, aloe vera good too. Shimon wrote, divided amongst our own people is bad. Laila wrote, be of the mindset, but did just to be a consumer of goods and make my own product. That's a good thing, to be able to make your own products. We are so dependent on grocery stores and supermarkets and so on. We usually see people who live in villages are primitive, but they can live without the outside world. But we are not, when I say we, I include myself, we are not in a position to survive without the outside world. We have people who live in the forest and they can sustain themselves with no problem at all. Now, where you are, there might not be as many strikes as in France, because France is very known for being a country where people are regularly on strike. when there are strikes, you have shortage of gas. That's to fill up your car, and shortages of goods. It can be bread, it can be butter, it can be milk. Get them from it. That's the end of the story. I remember reading once that there are some places in America where they forbid people from growing their food in their garden. And I was like, wow. If they forbid people to sell it, I can understand for health and safety reason. They might come up with some justification for that. But if it's for the people who want to eat their own product that they have grown themselves, they should be allowed to do it. So I'm forbid people from doing that is because they don't want this, probably they don't want this to spread, and they want the people to remain dependent. But you have to be careful of what you read too. Lately you had a few websites who appear to be proper, and many people share articles from those websites, but there's even a website here in France. It's is doing a satire, real news, and people believe it. Fake news is a term. You just have to be careful. But anyway, that was just for the record. Okay. Yes, country is not continent. I knew that's what you meant. Laila wrote, Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, bound by the government because we were doing well. Indeed. Laila Garib wrote, Philadelphia. Shimon wrote, Ma'at, what you said about the dollar during segregation is so true. I told many blacks that segregation for us. I think you meant to say that desegregation was not good for us. Many people say that. Laila wrote, I get my lavender from France on Amazon for $7.99 for £1. Lavender gets rid of free radicals. What's free radicals? That bomb 2000 Pac-Man wrote, I'm moving to Africa when? Yeah. Well, Ghana is the favorite for African Americans. That bomb 2000 Pac-Man wrote, I may move before then if I can find employment. Daida wrote, I fast a lot because eating is overrated and made to sell food, another way to spiritual awakening. Shimon wrote, but with all those, other races in there, with the help of the lost Africans, is destroying our Africa. Shimon wrote, Ma'at, yes, desegregation. Laila wrote, parasites, candida. Maybe it's an answer to my question, what is or what are free radicals? And Asin wrote, page 77, I'm holding my breath right now. Will I learn something new today? The African origin of civilization, myth or reality, all about Anu, the book of the dead of them. They made back migration out of Arabia according to. Okay, so on page 77, Diop said, see, I don't have the book anymore. I had it when I was in England. On Amazon, you can read a few pages. So I will see if page 77 is available. Oh, uh, I don't have the desktop version. According to Amelino, this black Anu introduced Egyptian civilization in writing. You know what? Asiatic Black Man 9, I'm just asking you. Diop said that. Yes, he did. On page 77. You are positive that Diop said that the Anu came from Arabia. Okay, let me see the message. The app is not the only one who said that. E.A. Wallis Burge and Flinders Petrie said that the Egyptians came out of Arabia as well as Dimitri Mix. Okay, all right, that's good. That's all good. All those people can say that if they want, but are you positive that Deep said that? For real? He said yes. Okay. 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 Okay, we'll find out. Why? Okay, here they are. Takes a few seconds. Parasites. Layla wrote Arabia is East Africa. Oh, ho, ho. I'm not down with that statement. To each his own. Blackman wrote hardcore. So you're asking if it is true that we are the Sun people? Wow. The hidden one. From what I've read, united. Lila wrote, "They are all white. Don't believe it." And Masons. The Bomb 2000 wrote, Dr. Ben Yosef Yochanan said they came from Ethiopia, then Kemet was invaded by the Arabs and moved them back into southern Arabia. Okay. Asiatic Black Man 19. That's the book. See? Everybody can see it. The African Origin of Civilization, Myth or Reality. Cheikh Anta Diop. Translated from the French by Mercer Cook. Page 77, and this is scanned, so because sometimes the PDF version of the book might not have the same exact page numbers, or a page number on a PDF might not necessarily be the same page number on the actual physical book, but this is scanned, so it should match. So I'm going to page 77. Let's go to page 77. That's the normal tablet, yeah. The Book of the Dead, Amelino's theory, it may be pointed out that An means An in Diola. Thus, Anu originally have meant men. For other similarities, see chapter 10. According to Amelino, this black race, the Anu, probably created in prehistoric times all the elements of Egyptian civilization, which persist without significant change throughout its long existence. These blacks were probably the first to practice buildings, invent sciences, art, writing, the calendar. They created the cosmogony contained in the Book of the Dead text, which leave no doubt about the Negro-ness of the race that conceived the ideas. These Anu, oh, my phone will die. If it does, I'm sorry. I'm going to try. These Anu were an agricultural people raising cattle on a large scale along the Nile, shutting themselves up in walled cities for defensive purposes. To these people, we can attribute without fear or error the most ancient Egyptian books, the Book of the Dead and the text of the pyramids. Consequently, all the myths or religious teachings. I would add almost all the philosophical systems then known and still called Egyptian. They evidently knew the crafts necessary for any civilization and were familiar with the tools those trades required. They knew how to use metals as the great Hermes, an Anu like Osiris, who is called the Oman in chapter 15 of the Book of the Dead and in the text of the pyramids. Certainly, the people already knew the principal arts. It left proof of this in the architecture of the tombs at Abydos, especially the tomb of Osiris. And in those sepulchres, objects have been found bearing the unmistakable stamp of their origin, such as carved ivory or the little head of a Nubian girl found in a tomb near that of Osiris, or the small wooden or ivory receptacles was not sufficient. So I had to look into that plug. Now, that being said, I'm going to finish reading that quote of page 77. And so far, it does not really look good for you, Asiatic Black Man 19. So I left off there. All the small wooden or ivory receptacles in the form of a feline head. All documents published in the first volume of my Fouilles d'Abydos. Formulating his theory, Amelino continues, the conclusion to be drawn from this consideration is that the conquered Anu people guided its conquerors along some of the paths to civilization and the arts. This conclusion, as can readily be, is most important for the history of human civilization and the history of religion. It clearly follows from what has been stated earlier, Egyptian civilization is not of Asiatic, African origin, of Negroid origin. However, this may seem, we are not accustomed, in fact, to endow the black or related races with too much intelligence, or even with enough intelligence to make the first discoveries necessary. Yet there is not a single tribe inhabiting the African interior that has not possessed and does not still possess at least one of those first discoveries. Now, I'm already at page 78. He says, Amelino supposes that a Negro Egypt already civilized by the Anu may have been invaded by a coarse white race from the African interior. Okay. I have read page 70 entirely, and I can officially say, brother, Asiatic Black 19, that now you get a strike. You officially earn your strike. Because I asked you if you are positive, you said yes. I asked you, are you positive? Diop said that the Anu came from Arabia, and you said yes. Brother, come on now. The only place where the word Arabia was not even there. The only word as close to Arabia was Arabs, and it's there on page 76. If we accept the evidence of their own creations, the Book of the Dead, amongst others, these whom Maspero tried to transform into Arabs appear essentially as blacks. Diop said that Maspero tried to transform the Anu into Arabs. Maybe it's on another page, but if it is on another page, I will let you see that on the page. You are free to take your mobile phone and the book, film the passage, upload it so we can all see it, because I don't want to spend time again looking for a quote that you are telling us that you are positive about, just to find out that that quote is nowhere to be seen. Bro, that's not a good look. But you're not the only one. I'm like that kind of, they usually do that kind of thing. Now let me go back to the comments. Now, I'm sorry for the interruption. The battery died. Okay, that was the last message that I saw. The phone went off. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, Cassie is term, you are looking for rulers of two deserts in Western Desert, Dynasty 1 Den and Kwa. Lila wrote, Delta Ben came and tried his best to spread the truth. He died poor. I still listen to him. He died poor, but he was well known and well respected. The Bomb 2000 wrote, Dr. Ben is the truth. Shimon wrote, I listened to him as well. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, original Arabs were black, not in power, in Arabia now. Wow. The original Arabs were black, the original Indians were black, the original Chinese were black, the original Japanese were black, the original Europeans were black. All black, everything. MSGT Bob Strong JD, what book are you reading? I was reading the book African Origins of Civilization, Myth or Reality? ? That's the book from the great late Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop. Or if you want to pronounce Sheikh the Arabic way, you would say Sheikh. Shimon wrote, what do you guys think about the revelations after his death? about him converting to Islam and him not having any of the qualifications that he claimed to acquire from universities. Or I doubt that he did not get his PhD degree. I read a book written by his son. I think I still have actually. I only have 4% battery, so all right. Bear with me. So, yes, I almost came back and said, well, I could have sworn I still had it, but I had to move it. The book written by Sheikh Anta Diop's son. His name is Sheikh Mbake Diop, and the title of the book is Sheikh Anta Diop, L'homme et l'œuvre, which means the man and his work. And I know he had his PhD. I think he was from La Sorbonne, one of the most prestigious schools in France. I think there's a point where they're talking about the fact that he did not have a particular mention when he had this doctorate degree, which did not enable him to be teaching at universities in France or something like that. But I'm talking about out of memory. I might be wrong, but I don't think that people can really dispute the fact that he had a PhD. It was not an honorary, it was not a honorary doctorate degree. The second thing about him turning to Islam, it is said, not to say it was known, that he was from the Murid persuasion. Now, Murid, not be too familiar with that. Some people might say this is a Moorish thing, but you have an individual who was called Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba. It's a form of Islam, I would say similar to Sufism. Or do you say Sufism? Diop was from that tradition, or his family was. Now, in one of Diop's writings, saying he mentioned him. He mentioned Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba, who is considered by some as a prophet. Oh, he's from Senegal. Diop is from Senegal, so Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba is from Senegal. There's a city in Senegal called Touba. I think it's Touba. I think it's considered the holy city of those Murid people. If I'm wrong, people will correct me. But I would have to paraphrase because I read that a long time ago. But I think Diop said something to the extent of that instead of following the other people, Black people, African people could go their own way. For example, you have Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba and so on, something to that extent. So that might be one of the reasons why people believe he was from that tradition. But you have to really speak to people from Senegal, and I know that there are many in America. Ask them the question. I don't know if we'll be validated. I don't know if we can say for sure. I personally don't think that he would have turned into Islam later on. It's possible that him or his family were more or less closely related to the Murid people. But to label him a Muslim or to say that he went towards Islam, I don't know. But as a matter of fact, we had this discussion amongst a group where I used to teach Meduneta, and I addressed the fact that cannot remember exactly how I articulated it, but I addressed that fact. And you know, the Pan-Africans, they like to have one narrative, and it has to be this way. There's a book called Cheikh Anta Diop, High Priest of Amun. I don't think that Diop was a priest of Amun. He was a scientist, a doctor, a great scholar, but to label him a high priest of Amun, I don't know about that. I guess that's all I can say about that. I don't think that we will have any quote from Diop saying that he was a Muslim. And when I say quote, I mean in writing. We will have to ask his family members, I guess. But the most important is what was coming from his mouth or from his pen. Now, Dr. Ben's info is dated. Layla wrote exactly, who do I see in Egypt across the Nile? They are black. See, she went to the real blacks of the Nile. Dabon 2000 wrote, I don't think Dr. Ben converted to Islam. Oh, I thought the question was about Diop. Okay, actually, Shimon, what's your question about Dr. Ben or Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop? Because John Henry Clark had an honorary. From what I read, Dr. Ben got a doctorate degree. I was not aware that people were disputing his credentials or the qualifications from universities. But Shimon, you have to tell me, I don't think that question is about Dr. Ben, because Dr. Ben surely did not. I mean, him, that would be before he was doing teaching on a large scale. One interesting thing that I have come across, and I think I showed that during one of the live stream. Dr. Ben apparently was a Shriner. You have a picture. It's on Alimbe's website of Dr. Ben with the fez. So that would be the closest thing of him being a Muslim, if you want to call Shriners Muslims. So, Tabom 2000 wrote, I don't think Dr. Ben converted to Islam. He gave his entire library to the Nation of Islam. He said they are the only ones worthy to have it. Well, it's controversial, that issue of him giving the library to NOI, because there was an article saying that he was giving his library, or he was about to give his library. Some other people said that he did not eventually, or I don't know. Some people was saying that he felt like the books will be safe with them. It will be well guarded. He said that they are the only ones worthy to have it. I don't know. But if he said that, he said that. But I doubt that he said that. Like I wrote, Islam means I am self-lord and my master. More knowledge plagiarized. You are a star and you master yourself with Ma'at. Now, Laila, I'm surprised that you're right that Islam means I self Lord and Master. That's backronym. Acronym is like NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That's an acronym. A backronym is something that you give a meaning to after. Like Tupac did with Thug of Thug Life. He gave the backronym of Thug, meaning the hate you gave us, little infant, F everybody, and F is the F bomb. I'm trying to be polite. A backronym is Allah, meaning arm, leg, arm, head, and that's linguistic acrobatics. That's like Islam doesn't mean I self Lord and master. Some others say that it means I self law and master. But no, I will greatly differ in opinion. Dabom 2000 wrote, I also studied Dr. Ben and I left it after coming into the knowledge of the universe and the writings on the wall. And he wrote, his phone must have died. My phone died indeed. Asiatic Black Man wrote, just getting good. Dabom wrote, we all share knowledge. Shimon wrote, yep, good info on what you guys think about Dr. Ben. We must share our knowledge. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, honors to Dr. Ben. Dabom wrote, Dr. Ben was taught and studied in Egypt and Africa. He didn't need a university when he himself was a university. Shimon wrote, I agree. Shimon wrote, I just wanted to know why he said he had those accolades. In reality, he did not. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, page 105 of African Origin of Civilization writes it up with a bow. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't know if you're still talking about the Anu being from Arabia or if it's about anything regarding Cheikh Diop. Dabom wrote, Islam was widespread because if you didn't convert, they will kill you. Some people dispute the argument of the conversion of the sword, trying to say that that religion came so peacefully, but taxation. If you are one of us and you don't pay this tax, then I guess some people will be influenced in order to not pay the tax. But I'm just saying this just to say that. Okay. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, Anu are ancient Arabs, page 105, African Origin of Civilization. And is it Diop who said that? Because you already have one strike. So it's okay. I'm going to have a look. Page 105. Let's go. Let's go. I might learn something new today. I don't know it all. I can always learn every day. So okay, now it talks about Arabia. Yeah. So the early Negro background of ancient Elam sheds new light on verses of the Gilgamesh epic, a Babylonian Kushite poem. Oh, so whoever's writing there is saying that Babylonian is Kushite. I differ with that. But you must bear in mind that here apparently Diop is quoting Hussaye. Next, he reports Hussaye's classification. You see, that book is not an easy read. There are a lot of quotes. And in the French version, you have the quotation marks all through the paragraph, which makes it easier to distinguish when Diop is quoting someone and when Diop is talking. In the English version, it is not the same. And as a matter of fact, you don't even have the quotation marks. Space, then a paragraph that doesn't start all the way to the left, just like you can see here. Because if you go up there, it says half a century later, the findings of Dr. Contenot confirm Delafoy's conclusions on the role in Asia. Okay? First, he recalled the opinion of the Quatrefages and Hami on the ethnic types represented on Assyrian monuments, the Susian in particular, a probable product of some mixture of Cushite and Negro, and there's a quotation mark, so Diop is quoting someone. A probable product of some mixture of Cushite and Negro, with his relatively flat nose, dilated nostril, prominent cheekbones, and thick lips, is a racial type well observed and well depicted. What is funny is when we are told about the mixture of Cushite and Negro. Cushites are Negroid, but anyway. Next, he reports Hussaye's classification on the present population, probably composed of 3 strata, one of which is thus described. Okay, so he is quoting a description. Hold on. Aryano-Negroids corresponding to the ancient Susians, who for the most part were blacks, a race of short Negroes with slight cranial capacity. The Aryano-Negroids are brachycephalic, not dolichocephalic like large Negroes. They are found in Japan, islands of Malaysia, the Philippines, and New Guinea. Although this classification may be slightly modified, the place it assigns to the Negroes is to be retained by their existence characteristics of Negroes. Have the ethnic characteristics of Negroes. Without exaggerating the importance of this element, it does not seem their presence in ancient Elam can be doubted. So that was a quotation there. And when he talks about the arches, I'm wondering if those are the depictions that we see in the Louvre Museum that I must have shown in some of the videos. The earlier Negro background of ancient Elam sheds light on certain verses of the Gilgamesh epic, a Babylonian Kushite poem. Now, that was Diop talking to me. If I'm mistaken, I will be told. And then he's quoting the poem. Father Enlil, Lord of the countries, Father Enlil, Lord of the true word, Father Enlil, pastor of the blacks. And you have footnote 11, but it's not the footnote at the bottom of the page. It will be towards the end of the book. So there, that's Diop talking. In this epic, Anu, the primitive god, father of Ishtar, has the same Negro name as Osiris the Onion. The goddess Ishtar, that's a quote there, there's a quotation mark. The goddess Ishtar took the floor and spoke thus to the god Anu, her father, verses 90 to 93. We already have seen that, according to Amelino, the Anu were the first blacks to inhabit Egypt. A number of them remained in Arabia, Patria, throughout Egyptian history. Well, does not exactly say what you said. The Anu are from Arabia. It says, according to Amelino, the Anu were the first blacks to inhabit Egypt. And then he goes on to say, a number of them remained in Arabia Petraea throughout Egyptian history. The Negro Anu is thus an historical fact, not a mental concept or a working hypothesis. We can also report the existence even today of Ani people in the Ivory Coast. The kings are preceded by the title Amon, as has been noted earlier. And just for the record, Arabia Patria, because I would have thought that this was Arabia under foreign rule. I hope Britannica will have an entry on that. Arabia Felix. Happy or flourishing Arabia. In ancient geography, the comparatively fertile region in southwestern and southern Arabia, in present Assyria and Yemen, that contrasted with Arabia Deserta in barren central and northern Arabia, and with Arabia Patria. Okay, here's the entry. Arabia Petraea. History of Jordan. I'm not on my computer, but how is it spelled again? Petraea. Okay. Let me. The new province called Arabia Petraea, with its capital first at Petra and later at Busra al-Sham in Syria. Let me do a search. Where's the search? Petra. I will have to have a look at I have the software of the Encyclopedia Britannica. Obviously, online you have a limited entry. I don't really like to use Wikipedia. But we have to keep this going. Okay, for just because I'm not on my computer, that's the reason why I'm looking at Wikipedia. Okay. All right. Of the Roman Empire beginning in the 2nd century. It consisted of the former Nabatean kingdom in Jordan, the Sinai Peninsula, and northwestern Arabian Peninsula. It was Petra. It was bordered on the north by Syria. So Petra is actually okay. That was just for the record. So now back to the chat. I will read the comments that I missed. 2 people are back on. Okay. So, okay. His phone died again, indeed. Oh, Theresa Smuts. She came into place. Okay, so that's where we left off. So, Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote Anu Arabs, page 105, African origin of civilization. That's not what he said. That should be second strike. Strike two for you. You love strikes. That's the distribution tonight. So Shimon confirmed that he was talking about Dr. Ben. Dabom 2000 said that he's seen the picture too. He saw the picture too, and I guess that's a picture of Dr. Ben dressed as a Shriner, or at least with the Shriner's headdress or headgear, the fez. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote the video is online of Dr. in his library to the Nation of Islam. This is what Dr. Ben wanted, no fabrication. Oh, I would love to see that video. I've never seen it. But you always come with some things that nobody knows. And when we're looking for proof, then we're left hanging. Layla wrote, Dr. Ben was an elder. Layla wrote, all words are a sword, sorry. When you understand wordplay, you understand the English language, which is calling spelling words. Dabon wrote, bro, please don't get 2 strikes. It's too late. He got them already. Teresa Smuts came. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, you're wrong, Ma'at. And he also wrote, the book is sourced up. Well, where was I wrong? I read the page. First you said 77. Then you said 105. Teresa Smuts wrote, Switzerland has a high brachycephalic ratio. Jews too. The Bomb 2000 wrote, loving this knowledge. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, yes, brother. Black Arabia, Petria, Northwest Arabia, Hijaz. The Bomb wrote, wonder why there's not at least 1 million viewing this right now. 1 million, that would be a bit much, because even people who have millions, tens of millions of subscribers, they never have 1 million people viewing at the same time. But I wouldn't mind 1 million views on Kemet and Ma'at. We'll see how long it takes for that. Asiatic Black Man 19 wrote, megalithic structures in Arabia, Petra, like Mada Saleh in Al-Ula Tiama. Dabon wrote, megalith is global. Dabon wrote, his phone died again. Layla wrote, that's why no one liked talking to me. This is what I like, cooking, writing and creating and trying to think of inventions. Asiatic Black Man wrote, monuments carved out of mountains in Arabia, Petria. Many people are unaware of these structures. Dabon wrote, they know this truth. Laila wrote, Ethiopia has many carved structures. Petra too. There is a show on Netflix called The Mean. Laila wrote, the Jinn movie on Netflix, you can see it there. Dabon wrote, Laila, we all here. We'll talk to you. Asiatic Black Man wrote, why did Jesus speak Aramaic? Because they ruled the Levant from South Arabia to Gaza, to Ram, to India in trade. Elijah said that Jesus and Moses spoke Arabic, not Aramaic, Arabic. Dabon wrote, the Bible is in facts, though just quotes stolen from facts. Laila wrote, when I understand astrology, the truth will set you free. Jesus was a fisher of men. Piscean age is almost over and Aquarian is almost here. This is the age of information. What Layla said sounds a lot like what people like Jordan Maxwell used to say. And the age of is the fish, that symbol sometimes on cars, the back of cars of a fish, which is, I don't want to say a representation, but it's about Jesus basically, or Christianity. So some people have figured out that the story of Jesus is actually allegories, and it talks about celestial. For example, Jesus walking on water is basically when the sun sets, then we can see the light all over the water. Anyway. Oh, Lila wrote 12 disciplines. Lila wrote Disciple 12 Zodiacs. That Bomb 2000 wrote Also Learn from the Writings on the Wall. Lila wrote Longitude and Latitude. We Are the Stars. Look at how did they chart the earth thousands of years ago. How did they carve images in mountains? They were advanced. They were indeed. I wrote the Antichrist are people who oppose the church. We are the Antichrist, but they had most of us scared of a made-up entity. When I was coming back, I was in the elevator, and I was thinking, if I was religious, I would say it's the devil, it's Satan is trying to stop me from spreading this truth, but I will not go there. Dabon wrote, the Son of Man that will return in the morning, the real giver of life. Welcome back, bro. Thank you. Dabon King Shady wrote, we back. That fish is the eye of Horus. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I heard that. Well, you held on this evening. Well, it's not the evening where you are. Dang, I guess we're going to wrap, brothers. Call it a day. Before we finish, is there anything else you would like to say? Any shout outs to your baby mamas and them? To your homies and them? Anything goes. Let's have a good closure. Let's have a good way of wrapping this up. Hold on. What was written there? Okay. Almost 6 p.m. here. Okay. Right now it's going to be 1 p.m. 1 p.m. What am I saying? 1 a.m. 1 in the morning. Thanks for the chat. You're welcome, bro. I appreciate that, really. I appreciate talking to real people, particularly people who are not trapped in the Abrahamic belief system. There are not many of us. Oh, boy. What some people think of us. If you are not into the Abrahamic belief system, it's as if you are an extraterrestrial, an alien, an anomaly. Well, I don't even think you said anomaly. I don't think you said that word in English. But it is what it is. We know more or less how we got there. And remember, someone with a PhD, a doctorate degree, allegedly, apparently, wrote that sending 360 slaves is being the victors. It's being the victor. It's being victor and having leverage. I would love to hear you read more of the writings. Oh, you mean the Medunetta? It's funny because earlier today I saw this book, The Maxims of Ptahhotep, and I was thinking, I should get into that. But I cannot do it all at once. And let's be honest, the Medunetta, there's not much interaction. It's a reality, it's truth. Question, feel free. Religion is one of the main reasons why the Afro diaspora is divided. I agree. What's your question, Dabom? That was King Shady who wrote that statement about the religion. Dabom has a question. Feel free, bro. I'm waiting for your question. When are we going to make our movie? Oh, we don't really need our movie. And it cannot be one movie for us. Now, if Spike Lee or any big producer movie about Kemet, it would be lovely. The closest that we had in terms of imagery of Black people living well and being independent and advanced, Black Panther, but that's a fiction. But there's one thing though, they swear by Bast. And in Kemet, there was a deity called Bastet. But that was just for the record. No, not Spike. What's wrong with Spike Lee? Do you have a problem with him? What you dislike about him? That was Dabon who wrote that. King Shady wrote, "You should make a documentary. It'll really blow up." Well, there are already documentaries. Hidden Colors is doing well. I'm not down with Tariq because of his disrespect towards Kemet and Kemetic people. But I've not really watched his Hidden Colors, but from the excerpts that I've seen, this is the usual Asiatic black man propaganda about the Moors and so on. But he's called Tariq Nasheed, so it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise, sorry. Now, and there are plenty of documentaries on YouTube and elsewhere. And by myself, to make a documentary, I need to be realistic. I'm not in a position to do so. King Shady wrote, "We need a documentary of the ancient African civilizations on the continent and throughout the world." And Dabom wrote, "We need a movie." Without a movie, without a documentary, we can do our thing. That's for sure. Remember, brothers and sisters, 11,000 subscribers in 3 years, all by myself. Just imagine what a few people can do. And completely independent, not founded. King Shady wrote, "Lunoko Rashidi is another level-headed candidate. He's the one that discovered the African tribes in Southeast Asia." I don't know if he discovered them, but he documents that. He's been documenting that. He made a lecture with Wesley Muhammad, so he doesn't have any problem with Negro-phobic and anti-black teachings, such as Africans are living the jungle life and black people being cursed and having kinky hair, thick lips, and broad nose as a result of a rebellion against God. We are marking that the black phenotype is the essence of ugliness. He doesn't have any problem with that. It's, to each his own. The bomb wrote, David Banner would be a good one to make the movie. Okay. I don't know, but as long as the information is accurate, then it's cool. It's cool. Some people are very skilled in animation or drawings and writing. Now, if someone is not skilled in animation, but he's skilled in drawing, then he might hook up with someone who is skilled with animation. And look at an anime like the Boondocks. Great lessons, great messages, funny as well. Um, just imagine if one person makes an anime, for example. But that will happen eventually, and there are some pilots of cartoons or animation, and people looking for funds in order to come up with the final products, the full episodes. But we'll get there eventually. You see, in France, you might have heard about this. There's that cathedral, Notre Dame, Notre Dame, like you will pronounce it. It burned, and I cannot remember if it was the same day or the next day, but it was definitely within 24 hours that there was €1 billion in donation. Within 24 hours, $1 billion. Oh boy. Some people have it on lock. Billion within 24 hours. Oh, I will wrap this up now. How long has this live been going on anyway? Okay, I don't have the full time. I have the time since I came back. But it has probably an hour and a half. Usually I'm not. Now, bone roll, we can start here in making the movie. And you wrote good night, bro. Well, we'll talk about movie later on. We'll talk about it later on. Almost everything is possible. So many things are possible. My people stay safe and stay healthy, and I will definitely head back at you later. Very because they were there before you, and if they were not there, you would not be here. We might not know it all about thousands of years ago, and thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago, millions of. What we know for sure is that our ancestors were there, otherwise we would not be there. And the other people, even though they don't talk as if they honor or revere their ancestors, but in reality they do. I don't need to say names, but you have some individuals who are mentioned all the time. As many times, close to as many times as their deity. But I will leave it there. Brothers and sisters, I will definitely head back at you later. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for making your contribution. Asiatic black man, you have 2 strikes already. Your credit is about to run out. Look out. Watch out. All right. And thank you. We had the brother from Nigeria, a brother from Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. I'm tired now. Trinidad. Teresa Smith, who is in South Africa. And there was a brother, he was, from the UK. So that's lovely. All right. Later on, we have people from other places. And later on, I might announce beforehand about going live. But I don't want to make promises now because, as you know, I have a newborn and so many things can happen very quickly. And a newborn needs so much attention and care. And those of you who are parents know what I'm talking about. All right, people. Take care then. And I'm out.